Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to yet another episode of Real Talk TV. It's me, the Black Hawaiian, aka Lionel Wright, and I know I always say it backwards, but I think of myself as being a Black Hawaiian first and then being Lionel second. So again, guys, like I always say, at the beginning of the show, Real Talk TV is all about people in the combat sport industry. I'm not only looking for fighters, but I look to talk to coaches, promoters, anybody that has anything interesting. And, like I always say, in the last couple of episodes at least, if you want to see someone on this show, check us out on Facebook, Real Talk TV, and drop me a line. Let me know what you think about the show, and let me know who you want me to interview. And we can get to know those guys up close and personal. Right now, guys, and I always say this about my guest, but you just got to know that this is actually very genuine when I say it. I got a great guy that I got into the studio, and this guy, I've known him for a while. I've watched him fight, and I've watched him grow as a person. And I'm very excited and honored, really, to have this guy on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to my man, Jon Barnard. How's it going?
How's it, everyone? I'm good.
All right, cool. So speak up a little bit, man. So Jon right here, he talks like he's a real soft and quiet guy. But let me tell you, if you are across from this guy in a ring or a cage, he is anything but soft and cuddly, I'll tell you. So Jon right here, thank you very much for coming on the show.
No problem, no problem.
All right. Thank you for taking the time. So, real quick, we want to kind of dive into this thing, and basically Real Talk TV is just about knowing about you and kind of getting people to know who you are. I mean, I think I know you pretty well, but there's a lot of great stories and stuff that people just don't know about who you are and what you are. So, we're going to dive right into it. And the first question out the box, man, I got to ask you is this, man. What is your full name?
No one has ever asked me that. You'll be the first. So since you're a good guy, I'm going to actually tell you that.
Wow. All right. Go ahead, man.
My name is Jon Freemark Barnard.
Oh, my God. So that's why you never told anybody. You guys heard it here first, right? You heard it? All right. Freemark. I love it. All right.
You never knew, huh?
Nah, never knew. And that's what Real Talk TV is all about, guys, is getting to know the person. There's a lot of people out there who may have known Jon, and now you just kind of learned a little bit of something that you never heard before.
Yeah, some of my closest friends don't even know that.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's great. Hey, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
So, along those lines, man, Jon Barnard, where are you born and raised? Where are you from?
I'm born and raised in Hawaii, raised on the west side, Makaha.
Uh-huh.
The best side, the west side.
Oh, boy. Check this out.
Yeah, I got a lot of memories out there. A really, really awesome place,
Yeah.
That place is basically about friends and family. Super, super loving place, you know what I mean? And most people may think it's something different, but it's not, You got to live there in order to understand
Right,
this,
understand it. Yeah, no, that's great, man. So what is your nationality, man?
Oh, I'm a mixed plate. I'm Hawaiian, Black, German, Indian, Portuguese.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, I knew the Black Hawaiian thing, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so you got two Black Hawaiians now.
You go.
Not one, but two. All right.
I'm a Creole Hawaiian.
The Creole Hawaiian, right. That's cool, man. All right, so, we got a little more information about you. So tell me now, growing up in Makaha, what elementary did you attend back in those days?
I went to Kamaili Elementary. It's actually right across the street from the west, Waina High School. It's right down there, Uluvehi's area. Not Uluvehi's, but what is that called? I actually can't. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember.
Well, we'll get back to that a little bit. All right. Okay, so you went to that elementary. In intermediate, you went
Intermediate, Waina Intermediate.
Okay,
and then Waina High School.
So you graduated from Waina High School?
Graduated from Waina High School, 2007.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The best year Waina had.
You know that everybody's watching this, right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so back in the days, going to elementary, were you involved in any sports back then?
No. That's why a lot of people kind of tripped out, I've actually, the first sport that I ever played or done was Taekwondo. I did Taekwondo for maybe like 6 months. That's it. Yeah, and it was really, really short. Like it was a short period of time. I wasn't able to actually enjoy the sport yet. I just started, so as a kid, 6 months goes by so fast. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, so
And
what
especially I'm
what
having
year
enjoy-
or what age were
So
you about?
maybe when I was in intermediate, about so during my whole elementary to intermediate, I have done nothing. You know, I
Wow.
haven't done no sports. I haven't done nothing. You know, I wanted to, but there's not much backing at home. You know, as far as allowing me financially to do these things. You know, and then I heard about there's a rec center in Waianae that offered free taekwondo classes. So I ended up attending that and enjoyed it. Did it for about 6 months, and I guess I probably did something wrong at home, and then my family punished me, so I couldn't go anymore. And they seen the enjoyment I had in that, so they wanted to teach me a lesson, so I didn't go. And then I didn't do anything after that for
Wow.
maybe like a good 3 or 4 more years.
So that was about like high school about now.
Yeah, so now I'm in high school, about 185 pounds, 5 feet tall,
Holy
big
cow.
round circle.
You look like me, but shorter.
Exactly. You said it, I just thought about it. Yeah, so basically, I was in high school, and, I just seen all my friends started to dwindle away. They all ended up getting girlfriends, They all ended up doing sports or other things that I've never was involved in. So I basically stuck around one of my really, really good friends but his name is Sean Akana. And me and him would be in school basically challenging each other on who could get the better grades. So it was always in competition. I'm a very competitive person. Most people may not know this, but at home I'm super competitive. Even with my girlfriend, I'm just super competitive,
Oh boy.
But so in high school, it was always competing who can get the best grades, all that kind of stuff. So it was I just stayed in that lane while I was in high school for maybe like 2 years actually in high school. So my first 2 years, I just stuck to education in the books and all that kind of stuff,
Wow.
And then I took a lot of business classes in high school. So my year, we had, what is it called? There was this thing called, what is it? It's academy. They started the academy in Waianae. So basically, you could pick a direction for your future. So you had a business, arts and communication, human resources. So you could go in a trade or a field. Yeah. So basically, your whole high school experience is basically going down that route. So I took business management, and I've just learned a lot of things in the business, and I enjoyed it. So, which basically took me to where I am now. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So where or how did mixed martial arts come into your life?
Oh, actually, I wanted to lose weight. In about 10th grade, I was 10th grade, and I wanted to lose weight. Like I said, I seen all my friends getting girlfriends and stuff like that. I was like, okay, what are they doing that I'm doing wrong, So I was like, I just figured maybe I need to get in shape or something, So I started training with Team Rootless at the time, and lost maybe about 40 pounds in about 6 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then ended up fighting.
So back then, like when you started training, what type of discipline were you folks training at that time?
Oh, striking. Yeah.
So just
kickboxing. Kickboxing, yeah.
Boxing. Yeah.
Boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai. Yeah,
Okay.
A little bit of Taekwondo, a little bit, Since I had a little background, I always wanted to put some of Taekwondo inside of our training. So,
All right.
yeah, we did a little bit of everything as far as the striking aspect goes. Yeah.
So this was back in what year?
2005.
Okay.
About 2005 to about 2008-ish. It was about 2000, yeah. Okay.
So the name of the gym was
Team Ruthless.
Team Ruthless.
Yeah,
All right.
which consisted of 5 guys.
Oh yeah. So who was the 5 guys?
Shaisen, Colin.
Oh, it's
we go for the name.
Yeah, give him the full name.
Okay, Shaisen Laupola,
All right.
Colin McKenzie, Sam Ferreira, Josh Ferreira, and myself.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just 5 of us.
So Team Ruthless. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember the name. I remember the name.
Of course, everybody did. We were in every single event.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you guys started Team Ruthless, the 5 guys, the 5 amigos.
There you go. Yeah.
So you guys start doing stuff. You guys start winning because I remember you guys were winning a lot of the
definitely.
kickboxing events back then.
Yeah.
So how did you guys transform into like the whole MMA thing? Because later on, you guys started to do MMA. So how did that
That was
work?
cool. MMA just started getting really, really big. Icon and Rumble in the Rock and all that kind of stuff was happening, and the crowd base was really, really huge. And basically, the only events that we could fight on in kickboxing were I forgot what's his name show was before, but there was only like two, Punishment Paradise and another like real amateur beginner show, feeder show, and we used to compete in those shows, and that was basically all we were limited to, you know. So we wanted to do more, you know, and basically one day we just came up with an idea of just try to learn MMA, jiu-jitsu, and all that type of stuff, and so we did a fundraiser with the help of our Hanai auntie and uncle Billy Keanu and Annette Keanu. They helped us create a fundraiser. We sold Kahlua Pig for about 2 or 3 months. We raised about ate about $10,000 we made selling Kahlua Pig, okay? And then we funded ourselves to go to Oregon. We stayed in Oregon. We trained at OJJ in Oregon, Tualatin, Oregon, Tigard, Oregon, excuse me. And we stayed up there for 2 weeks, and we learned ground for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah, we learned ground for the first time.
You guys went all the way to Oregon
We
to
went all the way
learn
to Oregon.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, the heart of Oregon, yeah. One of Randy Couture's old gyms.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went there. We trained up there for a while, and then we came back, and that's when there were the O-Lounge fights.
Okay.
Yeah, there was the O-Lounge fights. So we basically all had our first MMA fight at the O-Lounge.
Wow.
So yeah, we all got submissions. yeah, and so everyone was expecting a striking bout, you know, and we took guys down. Well, we would strike with them, they'll take us down, they'll get submitted, and it was just, I don't know, we rode with it. It was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, you know, you guys are doing that whole Team Ruthless thing, and then eventually you change into another team. So what was the name of that other team that you guys turned into?
Oh, we turned into God's Army.
God's Army. All right.
God's Army.
So now, you know, when God's Army comes up, this is about the same time as O-Lounge?
Yep, same time. Yeah.
Okay.
Around.
Who else did you guys? Because I mean, you know, at that time you guys had really you lost a couple of members. You bring on a whole bunch of members.
Actually, yeah, exactly. So basically, we lost guys and we brought on guys. So during Team Ruthless, we ended up expanding to. I couldn't even count. I maybe could say all the names, but let me see if I can name some of the few. So from that 5, we ended up expanding and adding guys like Sam Quell, Adam Florence, Curtis Jones. Who else? It was cross-training with Team Ruthless. Cross-training with SYD, with Jonathan there.
Okay,
so that's how we ended up all becoming
a really
good team.
Team
Sit You Down. We ended up cross-training. They would come to our gym and we'd go there, we'd do cross-training and stuff like that. And then we ended up, some of their guys ended up coming to our team. We had the Tavangas, Marvelous, Martin, and who else? Pete Purdy. Oh man, we could go on
I heard you
for
mention
days.
earlier Jonathan Visconti.
Jonathan, he ended up coming over to us. Miller Uolesi.
Okay.
Who else?
So
tons of guys.
So now at this time, when you guys become God's Army, the thing that I remember about you guys is you guys stood out because one of the things that people knew about God's Army is that you guys were great strikers. The other thing that people started to find out real quickly about you guys is that God's Army, you guys were a bunch of entertainers. I remember,
Yes, we were.
you know, when you guys come into the ring, especially if Jonathan Visconti was performing, you know, fighting, you know, he would play some great music, and that's what God's Army was really known for. Was you guys were the hip hop, you know, fight school, right? Kind of so to speak, and you guys all had your own personalities. You know, I remember that. And back then, you know, I remember that you guys had this young guy that was coming up in the ranks that used to hang around with you guys as well.
He had all kind.
Oh, one of the
even
guys,
Max Holloway too.
Right, so one of the guys that went on to the UFC,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He came with us. He ended up joining Team Ruthless maybe in about 2006, around there. He started with Team Ruthless, and then me and he was actually friends with our friend named Josh Keanu. He the one actually brought us all together. In fact, the person who brought everyone together was our friend named Sam Ferreira. That's one of he was the actual link to all the chains. He the one brought everyone together. This guy named Sam Ferreira, hilarious guy, really sociable, likable person, funny, awesome guy. One of my best friends. He brought everyone together.
All right.
Yeah. So Josh would train with us, and then eventually Max seen us doing really well, so he wanted to join us. So he ended up trying to join. The team wasn't really okay with it yet. So, and the thing is, I actually went through that whole process too of trying to join the team, and wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I actually felt his wanting to join the team. So eventually I was like, you know what, just give him a chance. You guys gave me a chance, and look what I did, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I kind of took him under the wing a little while and trained him myself for the first few months or so, you know, for the first few years. And you could actually look at my fighting style and look at his. We resemble each other. We're very aggressive, entertaining strikers. You know what I mean? We'll come forward. We'll not stop coming forward. We don't care who you are. We'll strike with you. You can be the best fighter. You know what I mean? I'm willing. You know. So basically, cool. he came in. I trained him for a little while, for a few years, and I stopped. I actually stopped training to go to college. I was like, you know, I see all these other guys getting hurt, and then once they get hurt, they heal. They end up going to construction or something. I was like, that's not me. I can't be doing that. So I ended up going pursuing my bachelor's degree in business management and marketing, and then, you know, while I was gone, my coach ended up taking him under his wing. You know. Like it was crazy. The relationship that they had, it was really, really, really something. Like it literally got me jealous. You know what I mean?
So your coach being
my coach being like him, Max Holloway, and Colin McKenzie were like like father and son. Literally, they would call each other father and son. Uh-huh. I swear, they would call each other father and son. There was like this bond that they had it's unbelievable. You know, they had a really crazy bond, and I came back to the sport, and our team still was perspiring, you know, it was still doing really good, really good, you know.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, I mean, you know, one of the things I remember with God's Army is that, you know, you guys would get out there and compete. Everybody knew that you guys were great stand-up fighters, and everybody wanted to compete against you guys. You know, you guys had that bullseye on your back, you know. So now, like you said, you know, you stepped away from the sport. And, you know, that's one of the things that I like about you, Jon, is that you've always been a very intelligent person. You know, you're more than a fighter. You know what I mean? And I've seen that early on in you, that you always had a different way of thinking or looking at things. You know, so you went on to college, you know, you took some business classes, you know, and then later on you came back into the sport. Now you started fighting as a pro MMA fighter at that time.
Pro MMA fighter, yeah.
And so kind of what I wanted to touch on too with you is that, you know, so, you know, during this whole time, you know, you've always been with you know, with that team, you know, your teammates have gone on and had great success. Like we talked about Max Holloway, and we all know what happened to Max and what he's doing now. But I mean, I remember some of your other guys, you know, going out and getting onto like the Ultimate Fighter. So like we talked about earlier with Jonathan Vistante. And one of the things I wanted to kind of ask about and talk about is that I remember actually hearing about when you and Jonathan went up to try out for the Ultimate Fighter, that you had this mitt routine that you guys kind of set up.
We kind of, I think I could honestly say, you know, and most people may beg to differ, but me and Jonathan, oh man, we're like the dynamic duo for a moment in time, you know, in the MMA industry. I took Jonathan not under my wing, but his father allowed me to train him, which was kind of rare, but he allowed me to train Jonathan, and with the help of my old boxing coach, my older boxing coach, Janito Tangarao Pelin, me and him trained each other. We trained each other for a little while, maybe for a few months at my uncle's ranch in Nanakuli. Trained each other, taught each other how to hold mitts for each other, and learned different styles of techniques and all this kind of stuff as far as striking mitts. And then we ended up starting a team called UKA, Untamed Kickboxing Alliance. And then Jonathan came over. We had a lot of really good talent come to this ranch. Like, we had really good athletes, really good, like Boston Solomon, he came down there. He used to train with us. Jonathan, Ben, Miller, Aaron, Cole, Ramel. Oh, we had all kind of guys, and they would train here. And I took Jonathan. We started doing all kinds of marketing behind us, video. We did a lot of media. We put a lot of media of us training and stuff like that. And then we did a fundraiser again. Same family. Annette Keanu, them helped us do a fundraiser. We fundraised to go to Las Vegas to try out. I was his mitt man. We went to the tryouts and actually met a few people, such as like Mike Rio. I actually held mitts for Mike Rio to get in the house. He never knew how to strike, and I held mitts for him. He actually, I think he was second place in that actual season. And yeah, I held mitts for Jonathan. He just blew the judges away. Like, he was really, really, really good. I held mitts for, I had mitts for even Zane Kamak up there, you know, and I think a few other guys, but yeah, so most of them went past that part, you know, even once they got the striking, they went past that. It was all up to their interviewing skills, you know, the ability to talk, you know, and I guess maybe most of the locals, that's where they actually fell, but Jonathan didn't. You know, he was really good at that. You know, Jonathan, he had the gift of gabber.
Well, hopefully we can get him on the show, and you guys
awesome.
can see for yourself how good of a talker that guy is.
Or Ben, whatever.
Or
Either
Ben Santiago,
or.
right? Yeah. Well, and you know, back to what I said earlier about God's Army. You know, these guys, they are. Not even word. They are entertainers. You know, you get these guys in front of a crowd, and they would do their thing. You know, whether it's fighting or talking or whatnot. You know, and it's awesome. So you know, so besides all of that, you know, with the Ultimate Fighter and whatnot, and the experience that you guys had, you actually went up and you trained with AKA up in California. So tell us a little bit about that.
I did. Actually, I cannot express how important this part of my life was, because I actually met this man named Wally Carvalho. He actually took me under his wing, treated me like his own son, and did everything for me. He took me all over the place, taught me the MMA industry like most fighters cannot even comprehend. You know what I mean? So he took me all over. I traveled with him, and he introduced me to his network, such as Javier Menendez, and I sparred and trained with the likes of, Brett Rogers was one of the guys that I trained with, Paul Buenotello, John Finch, Mike Quickswick, Josh Koscheck, Josh Thompson, Cain Velasquez, Luke Rockhold, Misha Tate, all in one outing. It was crazy. I met Fabricio Verdum. I met Cesar Gracie. I was invited to train with them. I met Master Toddy, what's his name? Uriah Faber's striking coach. They was inviting me to train at their gym because me and Koscheck had a really good war. We were sparring, and me and him was going back and forth. Me and Josh Thompson was throwing gloves. We was putting it down at AKA, and so everyone heard about that. It went around like wildfire, and everyone was inviting me. Hey, come here, come to my gym. I'll pay you. Blah blah blah.
Wow. You
know, and it was crazy. I thanks to Wally, he taught me a lot of stuff. Took me a lot of places, and yeah, he did a lot of stuff for me. That guy.
All right. So you know, we're actually getting close to the end of this interview, but we definitely will get you on, and we got to talk more story about all of that stuff. But you know, as far as like, you know, your closing remarks, you know, you've done a lot of great stuff in the sport. For a young person out there that is aspiring to become an MMA fighter, you know, what kind of words of wisdom would you have for somebody like that out there?
My word of wisdom would be, if you trying to enter this sport, before you're ready to enter the sport, you got to know that you're an individual fighting. This is a sport, man versus man. This is not about politics, all that kind of stuff. You got to keep that on the side. You're not no one yet, so just come in that game and give them your best. Do not negotiate who you're fighting. Just fight. You know what I mean? Just put your heart out there and just compete. I see a lot of fighters nowadays, they don't have that anymore. They're negotiating fights, they're negotiating pay, negotiating when. You're not in the UFC, you're not a champion yet, so don't do that. Just go out there, put in work, and, you know, earn that.
Let your work speak for itself. Exactly. All right, man. Hey, so thank you so much for coming out and talking with us. And you know, like I said, guys, we're gonna have him on again, and we're gonna talk more story. But Jon Barnard, thank you so much for coming out, my man.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, and we'll be seeing you guys on the next one. Aloha.
All right, man.